They said we only have you for 5 minutes.
All
we have
right,
to
well,
hurry.
it takes 5 minutes to spill my guts.
I don't know if you want to wear the headphones to hear yourself. You don't have to.
Yeah, I've done a podcast.
Okay.
I got tired of myself. We're rolling. All right, we're rolling.
All right, we're speeding this up. Sonja Morgan, you're in the house, but for a short time.
Yeah.
How are you? We've missed you.
Well, let me ask you that after you watch another 22 or 23 episodes. You'll get to see a lot of TNA and the cabaret.
Well, I was going to say, everyone in this office has been talking about the cabaret, but partly because they've seen you naked now.
Again and again. If you don't go to the cabaret, you'll see me elsewhere half naked, I'm sure. If you come to the gay party, I don't know what episode that is.
But if you've got it, flaunt it.
You got to tuck your penises at that party.
Oh, okay.
Because we've got the money moves.
Right. Are you surprised it's taken off, this cabaret?
No, not at all. Because I know Luann way back when. She always did improv. And I remember my first time on Andy Cohen with Lou. She was doing her disco hits, right? And I said, you know what? She should just do her Broadway. You should hear it, Andy. It's amazing. I remember saying that. And here she is, full circle.
Yeah.
Belting them out.
You know, you guys have been in the headlines a lot, you know, the whole group of RHONY ladies.
Yeah.
And partly because of Luann making headlines, do you feel like you guys all should have chipped in for a fruit basket for her? Like, thanks for the publicity.
Well, all I know is she and I have been on a health kick. That's all over BravoTV.com, by the way, if you want to follow that. You know, she went to rehab, came back funnier than ever. She surprised herself. She didn't realize how freaking funny she is when she's not drinking. Really, really funny. So anyhow, we've been going to, like, we went to Kripalu, to the health center, and then we went to this place that I just discovered, Hilton Head Health, the spa and resort. Amazing. And we've been getting up at 5 in the morning, 7 a.m. beach walks and yoga. And she's great because she gets up early. I don't. So together we're unstoppable. And I went last October to Costa Rica, the retreat in Costa Rica, and I gave up meat and gluten and
you did
alcohol.
Like a juice cleanse, right?
Yeah, they had juice and big salads for lunch. So it wasn't so drastic like I used to do. Bethenny and I used to go to a place that we just did juice. That was hard ass.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be. You're gonna see this season. There's been some shifts of. I think the friendships shift because shift in values. You know, those who are still partying, those who are not partying, those who are on a spiritual path, those who are still doing, you know, or
who is that?
Well, Dorinda.
I mean, from the jump, she's after you.
But she's always after me, and I'm like, why? I mean, growing up, it always used to be jealousy. I don't think it's jealousy. You know, growing up, all of us women, it's jealousy. That's the big J. Not the sexy J in Sonja, but the big J word in jealousy.
Right.
But I don't feel it's jealousy with Dorinda. I feel it's about her, period. And, you know, it's hard when it just keeps, like I'm the whipping boy.
Yeah.
Sonja's always the whipping boy.
Right. I mean,
because I always have a great time, no matter what, right?
What about you and Ramona? For the last few seasons, you guys have been up and down. We, fans of Ramona, need to know.
You know, everyone's behind Ramona. There's fan pages that follow us, and I tag all the time. And when Ramona and I are together, there's nothing like it. It's gold. And I love her. She's like a sister. And she's the person I could travel alone with. You know, and talk about poop and boobs and our butts and our fat and our kids and our dogs vomit. But you saw in Mexico, we were like, oh, we'll always be friends. But then there's this, you saw in the trailer, this summer I had to have some time for myself. And she's like, she doesn't call me back. She lies. Not calling back means I don't go stay with her for 3 days and listen to her loud music and eat her food.
Oh, no.
I'm not eating food. Get the memo. Not eating chicken
in
parm.
right now.
Right. So you know, it's like, for me, it seems like Ramona's making it about Ramona right now. So that's okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, I save the deep questions for you because you don't hold back. Of these ladies, you guys are all kind of single right now. Who's getting the most action?
Well, you know, mattress action, come on. You're looking at her.
Yes.
Well, I feel like one of my secrets, besides eating well and doing everything in moderation, you know, comes a good, healthy sex life. When you're open to the universe and love, you don't have to have an easy pass either. I mean, My one-night stands never leave. So it's not like I need an easy pass.
Right.
I need to boot them out. They get a foot in the behind afterwards. Well, not really, but you know what I mean.
Right.
They have to leave. My problem is that they're too young. I want someone older and established who has their own life and their own family. And I'm ready. I keep saying that. You know, my daughter's applying to colleges now, and she's a super student and very focused on that. So I'm getting very close to that. You'll see this season there's a lot. I can't tell you right now, but there's so many things leading to the road of Sonja, like hanging her kinky boots up.
Ooh. Well, we saw Rocco in the premiere. What happened to Frenchie?
Well, this is the thing. Rocco is a diehard. He plays the long game, and I had known that from the beginning because I know how my ex-husband got me. And Frenchie came on, like I said, the one-night stand that never left. I thought he lived in France, and he has a place here, and then I kept his stuff at my home. So Frenchie's in Paris right now, and he wants me to come over. He just bought another hotel. He's got the 3 restaurants now. That's a lot, I have a taste for luxury, and luxury has a taste for me.
Yeah.
And so that goes hand in hand. Frenchie and I, that is that tagline. But someone like Rocco is more like my ex, very solid. Well, they're both solid citizens. It's just it's so hard. You can't really compare on paper. You have to go with your heart.
Yeah.
And who do you want to wake up to every day? Your best friend.
Right. We're getting the wrap-up signal from press.
But Ramona would say neither of them, Ramona would say neither of them. But it could be timing as well. So I'm not throwing the baby out. I'm not throwing the babies out with the bathwater.
Keep those hot babies.
Yeah, they're both wonderful.
Quickly, tell us what fans can expect this season.
They can expect, once again, the unexpected. It's really intense. It's ridiculous. And that's what I love about our show. New York girls can be really intense and witty, and they go there because we trust each other and we trust ourselves to do what we want to do. But once again, very funny.
Yes.
Just sticky fun.
Great. Thank you so much.
Sticky. Very sticky.
Hi, Carole.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. Season 10. I can't believe it.
I know. I can't believe it either. That's six seasons that I've been on this show.
Every time I say that we're going to interview Carole, people get excited in a way that's different for other housewives. Like, people are excited about other housewives, but with you, they feel like, Carole, like they know you. You're their friend. And I think it's maybe because you're sort of like the Greek chorus sometimes. You're saying what everyone's thinking.
Well, do I do that? I think I'm a very rational, centered person. So I think a lot of people who are watching the show think of themselves that way. And I feel like that's relatable to them. I get that a lot when people stop me on the street, but I always, I think that, they're like, oh, you're my favorite. If we would be friends. But then I think, do they say that to everyone? Like stopping Luann on the street and saying that, stopping Ramona on the street and saying that. As much as I try to, listen, I would love to be super shady and flip tables. It seems like fun to have that kind of personality every once in a while. It's just that I'm by nature and training a journalist, is a very rational person. So my mind just doesn't think that way. It's steeped in facts and logic. So a lot of the drama is surrounding emotions. So I don't lead with my emotions. I lead first with logic and reason and try to get to the bottom of something. And the other women tend to lead with their emotions first, and then they follow up with some sort of logic.
Right.
But then, they're like, I mean, honestly, I wish I was more of a screamer.
Right.
Like, Dorinda cracks me up every time she opens her mouth. Like, I just couldn't get away with any of the stuff that she says.
Yeah.
Just like, like, she makes me laugh. So even when she's not trying to.
Right. I want to paint a scenario. Let's say tomorrow Bravo disappears. The worst possible thing happens and Real Housewives of New York disappears with it. Who would you genuinely be sad to not be spending time with on a regular basis of these ladies?
Oh, you mean if we all like imploded? Like we didn't exist anymore?
Like the show just didn't exist. The network didn't exist.
I mean, I think I would miss spending time with Dorinda. I would miss times spent with Bethenny. I'm being nostalgic. I don't know, Ramona, I don't know, each one of them have their own special little place. I can't imagine not seeing all of them
Right.
again. It just feels like it's a really tight knit group of friends and frenemies and enemies. The idea of not seeing any of them again is just sort of strange to me. I've been now part of that little group for 6 years.
Right. Okay.
But maybe I wouldn't miss any of them. Maybe I'm thank God, that's over.
Has there ever been a season where you seriously thought to yourself, I don't know if I can come back to this show?
Pretty much every season.
Yeah.
That does come through. It is it's a hard job. I mean, it's very taxing. It's a combination of, production and producing and improvising and then dealing with how to tell stories and narratives. I was running the marathon, so I thought, well, how do you show that visually on television? So you come up with all these different ideas and you talk to the producers, and sometimes they have ideas, but I feel like it's really up to the individuals, up to me to kind of figure out how to tell the stories that are going on in my life. And that's a big job. And then to get there and then remember who you're mad at and who you like and who you hate, and this person said this, and to keep it all in your head. And you're basically we're like an improv troupe. Mm-hmm. With no talent for improv, obviously, because we're all talking over each other, and it's a lot. There's a lot going on, and it's 5 months, and it's emotionally and physically taxing. So I do think about that. It does go through my head every year. Can I do this again? And also, is it interesting to me? Is there something that I want to say or do or show? And is the audience still interested? I think all of that comes into play. But it's now it's 6 years, so now I can't. I thought I'd do it for 2 or 3 years, and it'd be a really kind of odd experience, and in which I would take away and do something, and I never thought I'd be on it. I never thought people would be interested for 6 years.
Yeah.
That's a big chunk of time.
I mean, I think that things keep happening that surprise us as fans. December, Luann made headlines. And, what was your reaction?
Oh, my God. That first disbelief. When you're reading something about someone and you're like, this cannot be true. And then I was like, wait a minute. She hit a police officer and then escaped from handcuffs. And, of course, in my mind, it was the movie version of it. She was escaped from her handcuffs and was running across the street to get away and scream. I mean, the whole thing was right out of a movie. But I felt bad. I mean, I felt terrible. I can't even imagine what it's like to be arrested. I mean, I get pulled over for going through a red light and I get panic attack because I'm ugh, what is he, I don't do well with cops and get very oddly aggressive. So I can't even imagine what it would be like to be arrested, put in a cop car and booked and mugshot. And it was pretty shocking. It was pretty shocking.
Well, this turn into cabaret, I feel has been an interesting segue from making lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah,
sort of.
I mean, I think she needed some. I think she was always planning on doing the cabaret show before the arrest. That was always she had been talking about it. So we kind of knew that this was happening, and I thought I thought maybe that she would decide not to do it because of what had happened. But I'm glad that she did it. It gave her something to really focus on. And I think that was really important. I think she's taking sobriety seriously. And at least that's what I saw after she came back from rehab and we were filming. And, the other women, I don't drink too much, but the other women, didn't reduce their level of drinking, in sympathy with Luann at all. So, but it didn't seem to bother her. It didn't seem to bother her.
Right.
She was pretty strong, and she was, I met her at a meeting after she had an AA meeting, and no, I was really, really impressed by, her ability to do that. I wasn't sure that she'd be able to. Luann is someone who doesn't look back too much, and she will say that she never looks back, and she's always moving forward and stuff. But sometimes you got to look back and learn the lesson, and then move forward. So I think she's really taking this seriously, and I think the cabaret for her was just fun moment, to balance out all the really dark stuff that she needs to deal with in her life now.
Yeah. When is the last time you had coffee with Adam? And when's the last time you had coffee with Adam?
I'm so clever. Isn't it so funny? Sometimes I make those kind of jokes and I think no one gets them, even the women. I'm saying wink, wink, yeah, we had coffee. But I'm glad the audience gets it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you'll see the evolution or de-evolution of my relationship with Adam over the course of the season. But ultimately, I think he's a really good guy, and we had a 3+ year relationship, and that was important to me and important to him. And we haven't had coffee recently, but I can see going forward that there'll be room in my life and his life for some sort of friendship. And he was an important part of my life. For 3 years is a big relationship for me. I don't, I don't stay in relationships that long, and I need long breaks in between, so I'm not looking to hop into another relationship. So we'll see what happens. But yes, the audience will definitely see. It's difficult to break up with someone. It's definitely more difficult to do it on national television.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of oh God, because you don't want to say everything, but I'm pretty honest, and I can't not talk about what's going on in my life, and not in a dramatic way or a salacious way, but it's just a real way, you would talk to your girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, I'm not really looking forward to reliving that, but
yeah,
it is what it is, and yeah, there's definitely been shifts in all sorts of relationships on the show.
All right. Thank you so much for being on, and
you're
it's
welcome.
Great talking to you.
I love your podcast. What does "See What Transpires" mean?
Is
that your tagline?
No, it is. This office used to belong to Oxygen, our sister network, and "See What Transpires" was one of the taglines for them before they moved to being a murder network.
Oh. Are they murder now?
It's all murder all the time.
Oh my God, I love murder.
Me too.
Oh
I was
God.
so excited.
You know what you're going to love? There's a new show coming on called Killing Eve. I just watched some episodes. It's so good.
Right?
Yeah. It's really, really good.
I think I saw a trailer for that. It looked good.
I don't know. I think it's on Netflix or something. It's good. Starts next week. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Everyone, we're here with Ramona Singer. Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
Happy 10 years.
I know, it's a 10th year anniversary. It's almost like a wedding anniversary.
Right? Does it feel like 10 years?
Yes and no, because it just seems like yesterday that I started doing this. But then when I look at Avery, she'll be turning 23 in May. And when she started the show, she was this 11-year-old, flat-chested, little skinny mini. So
yeah.
Children are the test of time.
Yeah, Luann said the same thing yesterday, but also her dog, Aston Martin, she was like, that was a puppy, and now he's this 12-year-old dog, I don't get tired of watching you ladies.
Oh, I'm glad we entertained you.
You get told all the time, and I mean, obviously I'm looking at you. I can attest to it. You look amazing for any age, but especially your age. But does hearing that all the time put the pressure on you?
No, it makes me realize what I'm doing is good. It makes me realize what I'm doing is right. And I think the biggest thing is that I kept my face out of the sun as much as possible, and I started using anti-aging skincare products once I turned 40. But now I found out from this doctor who's endorsing my product line, Ageless, that you have to start at 23, girls. 23 years old. You start losing your collagen at 23.
Oh, we really have a lot working against us as women.
I know, don't we? We got the shorter end of the stick, didn't we?
So I was curious, you guys have this small window of downtime between the reunion and then filming the new season. Do you enjoy that time to yourself, or do you find you're missing like the cameras and the fans and the interaction
I
with the
love my
ladies?
downtime. Basically, we film 5 months and we get 3 weeks off. And for instance, as soon as we stopped filming, I was traveling for a month and a half, basically, or a month. And that was just great to do that. And the reunion really is only one day, which is in July. So we really have off 7 months.
Oh,
so
that's
it's not
nice
a bad
amount of
gig.
time. Yeah. Do you find that like you're itching to get back to it?
It's a double-edged sword because when we work, it's really intense and it can be emotionally jarring because we're 7 women that like each other, but at times we really go at each other's throats, so it can be quite emotionally disturbing, to say the least. So when we're not filming, it's kind of nice to take a break from everyone and just see them now and then, and you're under different kind of business pressures and different type of work pressures, so it's a good balance. And yeah, when we start filming again, am I excited about it? Absolutely. I have fun when I film with all these ladies, and I always say I'll continue to do the show as long as I have fun, because you have to love what you do to be good at it.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious, you and Sonja, Ramona, I'm always curious about the status because we've seen you guys have your ups and downs.
Right.
And what's happening? What are we going to see this season for Ramona?
Well, it's, relationships do change. They go up and down. You're going to see a big shift in Bethenny and Carole's relationship. Because of that, Bethenny is a little bit, has a different relationship with different girls. Because of it, Carole, Dorinda, and I got extremely close this season. Yes, you will see from the premiere that Sonja and I are a bit on the out.
And you and Bethenny. Is this going to be another season of you versus Bethenny?
I don't verse anybody. I just think Bethenny at times, she's at a point in her life where maybe she's not totally happy and she's either screaming at you or crying at you. And, I was just trying to have an intelligent discussion about business, and she just got all hot-headed and didn't want to hear it and just started it being not quite so nice. And it is what it is. That's Bethenny.
Yeah. Are we going to see you dating?
Basically, this season, I am not dating anyone. I really put my passions into my Ageless by Ramona skincare line, developing that and packaging that, and you're going to see that, how it worked through the show. I found a phenomenal doctor to endorse it, Dr. Amy Lewis. She's a graduate of Penn and Yale. She's still on the board of Penn for dermatology. She's on the boards for some major pharmaceutical companies. I also spent time, and I did it very quickly. I completely transform my home in Southampton. I worked with this great contractor in town, and yeah, that's really, I put my energies more into myself, be myself and I think, you have to just get yourself together first before you can really find someone. And if you find someone, it just happens organically. I'm at a point in my life. I have my financial success. I have my friends. I have my daughter. So of course, I can't go to bed with my skincare line. So that's the only problem. It's kind of nice to snuggle in bed with someone at night, isn't it?
Totally. Well, it's funny because Vicki Gunvalson from Real Housewives of Orange County, she told us that she made a vision board, and the guy that she's now with is basically all the things she put on her vision board. If you were to create a vision board of a man and like all the dream components he would have, what would it be?
Well, it's interesting you told me that because Vicki told me and shared the same thing. And I do believe positive thinking creates positive results. So I definitely wake up in the morning, go to sleep at night saying I would like a gentleman in his 50s to 60s, someone who's been married before because it shows commitment, someone who has children that are 18 or older because my daughter's older and I really don't want to deal with young children. And I really want someone who has a child because they'll understand how close Avery and I are together. And I think that's important. Someone who's warm, caring, giving, doesn't take himself too seriously, can live in the moment, makes me laugh. I want to laugh. Boy, do I want to laugh. And someone that's just as comfortable going with me to a black tie charity event or just being in the kitchen, a t-shirt, barefoot in jeans, cooking up a meal with me and a glass of wine or two.
All right. You hear that, listeners? She's waiting. I remember at the reunion for last season, you said Avery was about to move in with you because she had just graduated school. Is she still living with you?
Avery is Avery will be moving out with some roommates as of June.
Okay.
And she's been very easy to live with. We both are kind of like passing ships. We have to make appointments to see each other because we both have very busy lives.
Right.
But yeah, I love her more than life itself. And she's turned out to be this wonderful, wonderful woman.
Yeah, it must
inside and out.
be nice to have like her in this new phase of her life. She's no longer a student. She's an adult, like job and everything.
But she's studying for her Series 7, which she passed, and now her Series 6. So it's like she's back in school with all the studying.
I was at the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion when you called, and I have to know, what were you calling Melissa about?
I forgot. Melissa and I are friendly, and we got friendly even more so when we went out to do lip sync together, LL Cool's show. And I was calling her for something, to ask her something. And then, then I'm hearing this voice and I'm going, who is this? And he goes, Andy. I go, Andy, why are you answering Melissa's phone? He's like, well, why are you calling when we're doing the reunion? I go, well, I didn't know. So it was pretty funny. It was like, Andy says I'm the first to do everything on the reunion.
It's true.
The first to walk off, the first to fall asleep, and the first to call in and be on someone else's reunion.
Amazing. What do you think your first will be this season?
Oh gosh, I can't even go that
far. I was asking Luann this yesterday. Is the boat ride, we've heard a lot in headlines, is it as bad as it's being made out?
Well, there was no fire and there was no rescue boat, but the waters were extremely rough and severe. The water was coming over the boat. The boat was definitely rocking tremendously, so much so that no one could film. And it was that part was scary.
Yeah. Looking back, what would you say over the last 10 years was your favorite?
Believe it or not, the favorite thing I filmed over the past 10 years was season 3, when I renewed the vows with my ex-husband, and Avery was like the lady, not the maid of honor, but the maid of something, whatever you call her.
Yeah.
And Coco was the ring bearer. And it was a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful, beautiful moment.
Carole said that Adam was her favorite part of Real Housewives of New York. And I remember thinking that's so nice because, like, even if they're not still together, that she still sees it as a positive. So it's nice to hear that you still look back on that as, like, a highlight, even though you're not with Mario anymore.
Yeah, I mean, things change in life. It's, kind of strange, but it does. And it was a beautiful moment that we shared with our family and the viewers, and it was something quite spectacular.
Yeah. How have you kind of helped Luann through this divorce process?
I think Luann, she's doing really great because she really took control of her life. She fell really hard, but she got up, and that's what counts. And I think by going through the therapy and being in AA and going away for a few weeks and just getting into herself and learning how to be by herself, you know what? She's great. And, we all rallied around her. And that's one thing also about all of us women. We may fight like thick as thieves, but you know what? If any of us are down and out, everyone rallies, and we rallied behind Luann, and she's doing spectacular.
Will we see these bonds between you and the other ladies tested? I mean, who might you have conflict with this season?
It's a very interesting question. I feel like this season I took more of a step back. I'm trying not to be so confrontational and be confrontational and be in all that heated arguments. And what I'm doing more, if someone's having, let's say, a disagreement, let's say it's Sonja and Tinsley, instead of telling them to their faces what I think they're both doing wrong or how they can make up, I take them each aside separately, quietly, to see if I can get them to slowly resolve their issues, because I think that's just the better way to do it. I'm just on a different head trip now. I don't know how long it's going to last, but it's definitely different. Even with Carole and Bethenny, there's some things that are going on with them, and I'll take Carole to the side and I'll say something positive about Bethenny, hoping it will soften Carole. I'll take Bethenny to the side, say something about Carole, hoping it'll soften her, because those are like, subtle things to say that makes people say, Because I'm finding when you start confronting people in front of each other, let's say if Luann and Dorinda are angry at each other, if there's an audience there, they're not going to be, I don't want to use the word humble, they're not going to be as open. They feel like they have to look like the strong ass,
Right.
So if you take someone to the side, go, hey, listen, I think this is what's going on. Take this in, think about it. It's a much stronger effect on helping people mend their fences.
So you're the peacekeeper kind of this season.
I don't know if it's a peacekeeper. I'm just trying to explain to them, like, hey, let's not hold a grudge. Let's try to move on from this, and then try to explain the other person's position. Sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't work.
Tell me about the skincare line. I'm so interested.
I'm really excited about this. I worked with these leading chemists at this great lab, and I have cutting-edge ingredients, the Matrixol 3000 combined with the hyaluronic acid, with the aquaporin 3, and all these other peptides that will change your skin. Like immediately you'll feel the difference, and you'll see a difference in 2 weeks. And it's amazing. It's an amazing product, and it's endorsed by this doctor who, when I saw her, when I showed her the formula, she was amazed. She's like, when you came to me, Ramona, I wasn't sure what you were showing me and what, if I want to do this and endorse it, but this is incredible what you're doing. And she's like a really smart lady and very well known in her industry. So it's exciting. It's very exciting. And it's a type of business where I don't have to be there from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at an office. I can work anywhere from any place because everything now is internet driven. So it's wonderful.
I love seeing your different beauty treatments on the show because you've done so many over the years, like new innovative things. Mm-hmm. What's something you're loving right now that's kind of a new innovative thing?
There's really nothing, there's no shortcuts, there's no tricks. The most important thing to do is never go to sleep with your makeup on, use a soft cleanser so you don't pull your skin, and use anti-aging skincare every morning and every night, whether it's mine or someone else's. It's a must from the time you're 23.
So no more of those waffle burning facials?
They can be good, they can be bad. It depends on someone's skin. If you don't go to the right doctor, you could have permanent damage. So you have to be really careful in who you go to.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're so very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Hi, Tinsley. I'm excited too. Yeah. Do you mind wearing headphones?
No.
Is that gonna mess you up? Okay.
No, but yeah, no, I
Some people have feelings about
Oh
it
no,
messing
but
them
I
up.
just that's not gonna mess me up. Now that I cut my hair and I wear it straight, the curls.
I was gonna ask you
I know,
about
it's like
the
a whole
hair.
new thing.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But okay, I just can't hear myself.
Can you hear now?
Oh my god, I'm gonna sound like
Yay.
so sexy.
Yeah,
Weird.
I was listening to you in the other room. Like, she's got an amazing radio voice. It is this very Phoebe when she's sick in the best way.
Yeah,
when she has that sexy voice.
But I feel really weird. I feel like I need to talk like this. I don't know.
God, please do. I like it. But yeah, we are here with Tinsley Mortimer. Yay! Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You walked in and I mentioned your hair. It's short now. Was this Carole's fault? Did she get to you?
You know what? I swore that I would never ever cut my hair, and I there was no. When Carole suggested it, I thought she was crazy, and now that I've done it, I love it.
Yeah?
I love it. You know what? Actually, it did everything that I thought it wouldn't. I thought that it'd make me feel older. I thought it'd make my face look fatter. And it makes me look, I feel like, thinner and younger.
Yeah. That's so funny. I know, because I do think, Ramona had the really long hair for a while, but when you get it short, I agree. Sometimes it can, when it's really long, it makes you look older.
It just, freshens you up. It makes it kind of, it gave me, a little new sort of step.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel more vibrant.
No, it looks amazing.
Thank you. I mean, you have to say that now.
No. When you leave and be like, oh my God.
Oh
you
my
guys.
God. What did she do? Get those extensions. I know.
But season 2.
Yay. Yeah.
What has it been like season 2 versus season 1?
Oh my God. Well, obviously coming in. So when I came in, obviously it was season 9 of The Real Housewives of New York City. But for me, it was my first season, and it was a lot. I just been through a lot in Palm Beach, and I didn't realize as much as how traumatic my experience in Palm Beach was really until I got to New York, and then living with Sonja and then filming a TV show is a lot. So this experience now, season 2, which is now season 10, which is amazing. I just feel so lucky to be a part of this whole franchise, this whole thing, and to be able to come in at season 9 and then now 10. It's just great. For me, it's my life. Look, so it's hard to break it down into, seasons, but this was such a better time for me. I mean, I am in a better place. I've moved out of Sonja's. I live in a hotel, which is fabulous. I have room service. I don't have to cook. I love it. But also just, just feeling, you just get used to the cameras and just the girls, and I have better friendships now on the show, and have made really legit real friendships, and it's great.
I started to speak up a little bit more for myself too, which is good. Definitely, you see that coming up, and maybe where I say a few curse words, which I'm sorry, grandfather, who's 94, and I apologize, who watches the show religiously. I apologize, and I swore to him I would never curse again last season, and I'm sorry, but I had to, grandfather, I had to, because Sonja was being a bitch. But anyway, and just not being truthful. I just don't like friends to. I don't. It felt like she wanted to take me down for some reason. I don't know why.
You're talking about her going around saying that Scott paid for the
the
gift card and all of that.
I honestly look. A present is a present. I don't really. You shouldn't be questioning where it comes from. But I don't understand her motives in saying that Scott paid for it. First of all, I had been dating Scott for maybe like 2 weeks at that time. I mean, I don't know what guy. I mean. But great, good for you if you got that. But like, I don't know what guy is going to do that for you. Not to mention, I had already planned to move out of Sonja's and move into my hotel before I even met Scott. That whole thing was set up. No one's paying for me. I mean, and it's just, it's for me. I did grow up well, and I had a nice family that did provide for me, and I was lucky to have that. And certainly, I have money from my family. But it doesn't mean I don't work hard. I've worked hard my whole life. I mean, after I was a national tennis player, I went to Columbia University. I played tennis there. I worked at Vogue. I worked at Harrison & Schriftman. It was a PR company. I had my own handbag and clothing line in Japan for 10 years. I wrote a book called Southern Charm. Like, I have really worked my butt off, and I've never relied on my family money, even though it's there, and that's great. And I just, to imply that it's almost like I can't take care of myself without a man or my family is insulting. It's disrespectful to my relationship. And at the time when she was even saying this, Scott and I were broken up. So right. I don't know.
Did you feel extra like the need to say something to her because you were broken up with Scott too?
Well, honestly, I was fired up because I really honestly was, Scott and I were not together at the time, and it was hurtful. I was going through my breakup, and the last thing I want to hear is that, oh, we're broken up, but yet he's still paying for me. Like, no, that is not the case. Like, we're broken up. He's never paid for me. Yes, he's bought me nice presents, and I'll gratefully accept a Chanel bag. That's awesome.
Me too.
But I'm just saying, like, it was, she didn't realize. She acts like she knows me so well, and a lot of times she really doesn't. I haven't opened up to her as much because I've felt that she's not had my back. I mean, particularly when we were living together. So she didn't know anything, and for her to say that he's paying for me when we're not even together was hurtful.
Yeah. I have to ask, because you're here, we only have a few minutes. The whole Bethenny and Carole apparently maybe fall out. You're so close with Carole now. What about it?
I adore Carole, and she's been nothing but an amazing friend to me, and I've loved to get to know her better. And it was just a great surprise joining the show, not ever having met her and knowing her. She introduced me to Scott, which was so sweet of her. And she said, she was like, she's like my wing woman, and she took me under her wing actually too, which she was really supportive and great. It's sad to see our friendship get messed up for whatever reasons and deteriorate. And I've only known Bethenny and Carole as close friends. So it's weird for me to see them not being as close. My relationship with Carole has zero to do with anything to do with, she and Bethenny. I just hope that, that they can work things out and come, back to better terms.
We've seen this a lot on Beverly Hills, kind of like competitive friendships. Do you feel like there was a little bit of a competition there at all, or watching the show, seeing interviews now?
I don't think that there's anything competitive. I think that perhaps Bethenny was close with Carole before I joined the show, and I think Bethenny may have been a little bit surprised by Carole and I being close, because I think that actually Carole, and she admittedly said so, that she, had, reservations about me joining the show, thought that I was this other kind of person. And so I think that, and Bethenny said that she actually was really excited about me joining the show. So I think that it was a little bit strange for Bethenny to maybe see that Carole and I grew close. But I mean, she introduced me to Scott. Like,
right.
It's not that hard to figure out how it started. And then we spent time together. Scott also knows Adam well. He knows Trip, who is, you know, in Carole's building, who's one of Baby's daddies, the dog.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's how Carole and Scott know each other, through Trip. And then, so it's like a back history there and a backstory. And obviously, I mean, once we started to hang out and off the show and everything, we became close. So maybe that was it. Maybe there was a little bit of like a confusion, like, wait, how did you guys become so close? But I don't think it's anything to do with competition. I think it was just maybe a little bit of perhaps confusion and just
Surprise.
Maybe look, but Carole is not a one girl, like gal pal type of girl. Like, she's a solid friend. She's friends with everybody. If she, you know, she gives her heart and soul to her friendship. And I think that, you know, you can be friends with a lot of people at the same time.
Absolutely. I have to ask, because we heard whisperings about this infamous boat trip that you all go on.
Right. Look, I'm a terrible flyer. If I'm flying and the plane is shaking, any sort of mild turbulence, I think we're going down. But on a boat, I'm just a little bit more comfortable for whatever reason, maybe because we're literally like we're on
the water,
so I know if worst case, I'm going to dive over and I can swim. I can't fly, but I can swim. So I'm like, you know, so I didn't feel like it was as bad as everybody thought it was, but I also was in the front of the boat, and at the back of the boat, I think we had a lot more like turbulence and experience, and there was furniture moving around and people got sick, and I can't, you know, people were afraid.
Okay, and then I just have one last question. I was at the performance of Luann for the Countess and Friends that you guys were at.
Yes.
Thoughts?
I loved Luann's cabaret show. I am super proud of her. I mean, she rocked it. She gave it. It was great. I was dancing, like my hands were flailing. I was up, and I was excited for her. I was singing Money Can't Buy Me Class. I thought she did a great job. I'm really proud of her. I thought it was great. I think she's made for that. I think that is perfect for her. She did a great job.
Yeah, and I loved how she kind of laughed at herself.
From experience, when you do hit rock bottom, which I experienced myself, and strangely and ironically enough, we both hit rock bottom kind of in a very similar way, both being arrested in Palm Beach. Like I said,
you can't write it.
You know what? You can't. It's too ironic. It's crazy. And I said, like, nowadays, it's like, if you don't have a Palm Beach mugshot, like, you ain't nobody. I'm sorry. Like, it's not a rite of passage.
I gotta work on it.
She's like my soul sister. And no, I'm proud of her. I mean, you gotta take that dark place and build up from it. And that's what I've been trying to do too. And I think she's successfully doing it. And I think she seems great. She looks great. The cabaret show is great, and I'm proud of her. I mean, you can't not be. She's done well.
Totally. Well, thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And my sexy radio voice.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's so weird to talk like that.
I know.
Now I'm like, oh, so deep.
Fine, and I got my girls with me. With the boys at the table getting tipsy. Miss